Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. Now, don't panic and look at this and think, oh, we watched you make that a few weeks ago, Jo. What I want to do is, when I made this design using the new stamp and spin tool, quite a few of you got in touch and said, Jo, we don't make large cards anymore. 8x8 and larger, just too big for postage. So you asked me if I could possibly show you how to create something a little bit smaller. So look at this. Smaller is what I've gone for. Now this was just an offcut. I've got to be honest, it was a practice piece and I reckon it's 3 inches square. So I thought, how can we make that into a card that we could batch card make? Again, I know this is Christmas, but if you just swap it for a different stamp to make it for autumn or for a wedding, or again, you know that the drill. So what I've come up with is, here's my finished. So this is on an A6 card and nice, simple wreath. Now you could always add a bow if you wanted. I've popped little design on the back and as always, the corner of the envelope. And the colour in here, I've used Posca because that's permanent when dry. And just on the back, look on that. How lovely. I'd love to receive that at Christmas, you know. So that's the design I'm going to create. But I thought I'd have a bit more of a play. Because look, you can mix it up a bit if you want. I've just stamped the wreath further down on this, still for an A6. But I've added the holly in opposite corners. And I've also on this one added some of our lovely stickles over so it snowed on top of the sentiment. So as I say, smaller design, but I think equally just as lovely. Now what I'm going to do is start off with, I'm going to get our lovely stamp and spin tool. So this is the one. Now you will get a bit of reflection from my light, so I do apologise about that. Now it is quite, when I open it, those of you who have asked, it is quite, I'm not going to say heavy because if you've got dexterity problems, I don't want it to put you off. It's not heavy to lift, but it's quite solid. It literally, you know, it goes down. It's quite easy to actually pop down. So I do think if anything, it's actually so easy to use. Now I've actually marked the good place to put my card. Now unfortunately because of the size I can't show you it all when I open the lid, but what I've got here, this is the A6 multifarious card from the pack, and as always I've just taken a slither off 2 sides, and then as I say I marked it and I'm actually going to stamp this way. But again, you will find a way that works for you. It just happens that, as I say, this works for me. And you'll see what I mean. So I'm actually going to stamp my card this way. And again, that's just the way it works for me. So I'm going to come in and I'll move this along for you. Again, I'm sorry about the reflection. And I'm using the mini holly. And if I look, I want it on this ring. Now there are rings drawn for the different sizes, so when we're creating a larger wreath, obviously we use the outer rings. And actually I've got a lovely design which I demonstrated at the Halaganza look where you can create 2 at once, and I put my 2 holly stamps on at the same time and moved it round and created this double wreath. So honestly there is so much fun, so many different things you can do. So I'm just going to pop it there on that. So it's on the inner one. And then all I'm going to do is ink it up. And I'm going to use the spruce. This is one of the newer colours, only because I haven't really used it much. So I'm just going to ink my stamp up. And then stamp the design. Now, I always check it's stamped properly before I twist it, so that's fine. And you will feel it when it stops. So you just turn it, and I'm going to ink up again and do the same. Don't need much pressure. Again, lift it, check it's stamped, which it has, look. So again, twist it round, and it's sort of, you can feel it. So that's all I'm going to do, is keep repeating the same. So as I do, it gives me the perfect opportunity to ask how you're doing. So I hope you're doing okay. It's been hectic the last few weeks in our house. Our eldest son had his tonsils out. 35. But oh, he was in so much pain after. The consultant did warn him that the older you are, the worse it can be. But it always just sounds so minor, doesn't it, having your tonsils out, bless him. So I had extra grandma duties, not to mention extra mummy duties, not to mention Eric's been poorly. He's much better. It's all go. But I'm sure you're all like me. We all have these things, don't we? And obviously we've had our fabulous new stamps, our new release. Always things going on in the craft world, isn't there? And there's always new things we need. I love that word, need. I always use that. I always say to Carl, you know, oh, I need that. I need to be able to use that. I need that for a workshop. You'd be amazed what I need for my workshops. So literally, look, and it is so easy, so relaxing. And look, you can see it building up. And if it didn't quite stamp properly, I mean, as you can see, I'm hardly putting any pressure on. If it didn't stamp properly, I would just re-ink and pop it back down before I removed it. But what I'm going to do now is give that stamp a little wipe. And that's where Mr. Inky Binky comes in. And I'm going to get one of the Christmas greetings. And I'm going to put that here. Now, if you're worried that your stamp isn't clean, put yourself a little piece of acetate or a little piece of plastic over here. But I know mine's clean. So I'm just going to position that, I think, there. And so I could change the lid, because we have got a lid for the actual stamping tool. But I'm just going to use this to save putting it on and off. So again, I'll ink up. I'm using the same ink. And again, just do a nice light press so we can have a look and see, oh, that's plenty. That's beautiful. So I'll peel this off. And what's lovely is this is tacky. Not overly sticky, but it is tacky. I like to just pop a piece of copy paper in mine. We'll put that down there. We'll file it next to Eric. Look at that, lovely. So we'll put the lid on there. Now, to add some colour, just going to come in with my Wink of Stella. And this is the lovely red one. I'm just going to lean on here. I don't want to put any marks on. Now, again, you could use your gel pens for this. I just love the sparkle that we get from the Wink of Stella. As I say, on the envelope, I used my Posca. So again, you could use a red Posca. Just going to go round. Sometimes I think it's nice to have a very classy Christmas card. And as I say, if you're batch card making, this would be lovely. And I think because you've got the extra detail on the envelope and the back of the card design, you don't need to overcook it. I mean, look at that. We'll add a little bit of glitter. So I've got my stickles, and all I'm going to do is pop a little bit on my mat. You see, just in case it spits at my work. And what I've got is I've got my original Wink of Stella pen, which I kept when it was empty for my stickles. And I'm just going to paint this on, just because that way I can get it exactly where I want it. I don't want too much. And I'm just going to dab it round, and I don't want it thick. This I get a nice light amount on, look. So my stickles will last longer, because after all, I'm very thrifty. Or tight, some might say, but I'm going with thrifty. and I can just keep that shape, look. Lovely. And, oh, look at that, perfect. So we'll give that a wipe. And that just adds that lovely bit of sparkle. Again, look at that, beautiful. So the last thing we're going to do is some Posca, some snow. Now again, you can leave this off if you don't want this, but I'm just going to add some. I just think it shows up nicely on the leaves. And I put my stickles first and then the Posca on top of the stickles. Now, the Posca will show up more if the stickles is dry. So I'm not going to overcook that because I'll come back and add some more later, but I just wanted to show you. So there you go, you beautiful little. Now, it could be you want to put a banner across with your sentiment. As I say, lots of things you can do. So there's the one we've just created. This is the same size, look, but because it's lower, looks like it's larger. And we've got our lovely envelope there. And like I say, little diddy one there. So I'm going to look for more scraps and see and just create more of these. I think I'm going to have a bit of a mini wreath making session. So for those of you who wanted to know, can you make smaller designs? Yes, you can. And obviously remember, if you want to do large and small in one go, how about having a go at that? I'd love you to have a go at that. So same colour as well. It was the spruce. So thanks for popping in. As always, it's lovely to spend time with you. Maybe have a go at this with a different stamp. We've got such a fabulous array of stamps in the minis. Have a look through and see what you can use. So enjoy every minute. So you take care. It's been lovely spending time with you. And I'll pop back soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.